Here are the supplies I'll be using for the online watercolor workshop. First of all, this is my brand new palette. I promise you will never see it this clean again. This is a palette I ordered from Cheap Joe's, and it's an American Journey metal tin palette or something like that. I'll have a link to it for you. It has a ring in the back for your finger so you can hold it. It has a nice weight to it, so I know it's going to be fairly sturdy. I like that it has the double fold system because not only does that keep it nice and small, but it also gives you plenty of area to mix your paint. It holds 12 pans, and I recommend buying some extra empty ones, and then that way you can switch out colors when you want to. I like to arrange my paints in color temperature from warms to cools. So when I put my paint in these pans, I'm going to start with my warm colors over here, and then I'll put my blue colors over here. For this particular time, I'm using all Daniel Smith watercolors, and I'll have a list of the specific colors that I'm going to be using. When it comes to Chinese white, sometimes I'll put some in a pan, and other times I'll just have the tube handy and I'll squeeze out a little bit when I need it. So that's my palette and my paints. Moving on to my brushes, I generally use about 4 brushes, and that's really about all that I use. I always have a real nice Kolinsky sable. I've used this brand of brush ever since I started painting, and I have to switch it out fairly often because I wear the point out. But it's a beautiful brush. Look at that. Look at that nice point. It's a Kolinsky sable Da Vinci Maestro number 8. And like I said, I've been using it for years. Not this brush, but this brand. I bought this one new just a little bit ago. And then I have my Squirrel Quill Mops. These last a lot longer because even though the points will eventually kind of wear down, they're still very useful, and whenever you need the fine detail work, that's when I would switch to a Kolinsky sable. So I've had these brushes for years. This is a size 2, this one is a size 6, and this one is a size 10. Now the sizes are going to vary from brand to brand, so here's what I like to tell people. Look for a brush that's about the diameter of your pinky, and this would be for that small area work. And then you're going to want a brush that's about the diameter of your index finger. And this is kind of an all-purpose brush. And then if you're going to be painting large at all, like a half sheet size or larger, you're going to need a big mop brush. You're going to want a big mop brush in order to get those washes down nice and easily. So this one is about the diameter of my thumb, maybe a little bit bigger. So that's a good way to look for the brushes, because like I said, the sizes vary greatly from brand to brand. All right, let's see, moving on. Water container doesn't have to be a specific container for painting. It can be an empty yogurt container, whatever you have. A kitchen sponge for taking off excess water from your brushes. Masking tape to tape the paper down to your board. A spray bottle to spray your paints to get them wet, and then also to spray the paint as you're painting when you want to soften an edge or something. And then really good watercolor paper. I recommend that you only use artist grade 100% watercolor or 100% cotton watercolor paper. I like to use 140-pound rough, and the brands that I use vary between Saunders Waterford, Fabriano Artistico, and Arches. So one of those 3 brands is generally what I use. I like the rough surface because it has a nice texture to it. If you've never used rough, you might want to try out a sheet or 2 and see if you like it. You're also going to need a surface to paint or to tape the paper onto, and I use a product called Gator board. You can also use plywood, whatever type of lightweight board. You can even tape it down to your table, although it's nice to sometimes put it up in an angle. Okay, so that's really about it. Those are my supplies. I've always liked to keep my supplies very minimal, high quality, but not high quantity. Always buy the best that you can, but only buy exactly what you know you're going to use. That way your setup is simple, you can get it out quickly, you can put it away quickly, it can travel with you, and you're going to really get to know your paint and your brushes if you keep it more minimal than if you have, a wide variety of colors and a huge selection of brushes. have any questions about this, just send me an email. Thanks.